Welcome back to the Three Amigos podcast. I have my main man Justin with me today, and it's just a Dose Bro podcast today.
Just a dose
Turn
bros,
this
man. Kind of
light
sad.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of sad. We have
I was like,
we
whoa, am
have
I ready? And I forgot.
like
My shiny
we have
light wasn't
one
on.
who decided to schedule a date. Which hey, we'll take it.
Understood. Respect.
Understood. I have a lady myself. If I canceled on a date that I already said I committed to, I'd be in trouble. And one who has a baby, man.
That's all you
Fuck
need
that
to say.
baby. Yeah, fuck that baby, dude.
As a baby. As a newborn. Only been a couple months. So
Only been a couple months.
yeah.
And
Adjusting to
yeah,
dad life. We're okay with that.
yep.
Well,
I'm
dude,
also adjusting to dead life.
I know. Last week we missed you. We really were
I
sad not to
know.
have you part of it. Dude, it's so funny. I think sometimes like you kind of take people for granted for who they are, right? And dude, you carry the conversations, you flow the things because I had to be that guy last week. And oh my god. And Chris is just sitting there like this. And you're
Oh,
like,
dude,
all right.
dude, Chris is the fucking worst because he's like so dead after work, and he comes into this like this. What are we talking about,
He's so
boys?
serious.
And you're just like, Christopher, lighten up your fucking face.
I'm like, geez, don't look like someone killed your baby, dude.
Dude, I know. And he's like, he's holding Charlie, and I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
love you, but
It's funny. I have always respect when I have to do and lead the podcast, which hopefully we did great. If not, you know what? Fuck you. It's all good. Don't bother me. But we're excited to have you back because now we have the two conversationalists. Because really, let's admit,
yes.
Chris gets really heated about certain things, but he doesn't flow the conversation. He speaks his points.
See, the one thing I can appreciate about doing a dose podcast sponsored by not sponsored, please sponsor us. The one thing I can appreciate about doing a dose podcast with you is we will actually have conversations. Chris and I will have an outline and then ignore the outline and talk about whatever we want to talk about at the moment. So
Heated battles and all that, getting
yeah,
into it,
get into it. But I
unnecessary
think,
long conversations about stupid things.
hey, whoa, I don't like
Oh,
that. Well, changing the subject, I think we should go. I'll give it my best effort. Like I told everybody a couple weeks ago, I moved into the garage so that we don't wake the babies when I'm yelling. I've gotten too many texts and too many shh to now do the podcast in the room. So I've been removed to the garage, but that means that I can give us a Chris effort Cowboys corner. So let me give this a try. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the first time this season, we have Alex Andre doing the Cowboys corner. Are we ready?
let's go.
And now entering the arena after a hard fought battle with their rival, the Cowboy Corner. Oh, I've been way too loud.
Woo!
I just
I'm dead.
yelled, bro.
I'm weak. Let's go. Well,
All right.
man, dude. Well, thank you. I love it. I love getting into the Cowboys corner. This week is, although not the best note, it is a positive note. We're talking about a lot of really good things.
Yeah.
First off, I just love to do this with you because I think it's something only fair. Let's just conversate about the game, man. I'd love to know your thoughts because ultimately, here's how I felt we did. I felt it didn't look as good as in some points. There maybe were some times where it could have been, but literally a lot of that game was game of inches. Like the Dak stepping out, the not catch to the touchdown from the tight end. We did shoot ourselves in the foot by getting backed out in penalties at the very end of the game. But besides that, overall, we played a really good game against what's considered a really good team. And so I'm pretty happy with the results.
Yeah, I would say that the overarching theme of that game for me was that last play where you, like you said, ended up a yard short. Like literally like a yard short from the touchdown. Like
Yeah.
CD had an absolute crazy game.
Oh, dude,
And then
he's been on a tear.
one thing I think that's nice about this is Dak has been back for a couple weeks, right? Like being Dak. And it was like, is this a like against bad teams? Is this just like a like bad but the Eagles, that's a pretty good defense. And he
Oh yeah.
balled out.
Dude, he did fantastic. And that was like the coolest thing is there was so like so normally Dak always gets hated on in every loss that we have. And it's fun that this week, even like Stephen A. Smith said it. We hate him, and he hates the Cowboys. He was honest and said, it's not on Dak. Like that's cool to be able to have people stand out and be saying something like that, especially when you're a Cowboys quarterback. You get ridiculed pretty quick, like a lot for being
Yeah.
losing. Doesn't matter who you the fuck are. But dude, he played a phenomenal game. He played lights out. He was not our reason. I think the only one of our biggest caveats and one of the things that will let us win later on in the season is getting more of our team involved. CD had a monstrous game, and that's super, super awesome. And he's had monstrous games, but there was no one else. I mean, Jake Ferguson did pretty good for a little bit of that game. He had the one drop that was pretty bad, but he's gonna get hit. So
I'm just doing some light scouring. Tony Pollard 51 yards on
dude, yeah, he
12
did really.
attempts.
And that's I just this is where my hesitation came. I thought Tony Pollard was a good back last year, and I thought he would eventually take over the role of Zeke. But when it comes to like a power back, Zeke is that. I think we were overpaying him 100%. He wasn't worth it, but like we're missing that because it would have been if we had more of a run game. I felt like there could have been opportunities to do it. We're not a run team anyways now.
Your West
Tony
Coast
Pollard
offense.
he had a decent game. Like he only had 51 rushing yards, but what did he have for passing?
I don't
Because
know.
he did do that. But
Let's
I
see.
have him in fantasy. He didn't even do that much. So
Yeah, he had 3 catches for 12 yards. It's not
yeah,
bad for a back.
not great.
Not great, but not horrible.
It really a lot of that game relied on CD and Dak. So it's good. So the next part of our offense, the moving phase into this, and this is how we get heated into the playoffs, is getting the rest of the team involved.
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Gallup for who he was, but he's been kind of a former shell of himself this season, which is kind of sad to say because I really, really liked him when we got him out of Colorado State. I thought he was just tall, long. He's like a big bodied receiver. His
It is.
ACL tear kind of he isn't. I don't know if he's dedicated as much. I don't know what the issue is. If he just had a bad game, whatever it is, but he's awfully quiet. He used to like
Yeah.
I think the last couple of years he was a second round pick in fantasy, or like a second wide receiver or third wide receiver that you would pick
Yeah.
off.
Wide receiver too. And
Yeah, so not so much that anymore, which is kind of sad. But Turpin, I love Turpin, dude. That dude's a stud. He hurt so I don't know if you saw it, but on a kickoff, he hurt his shoulder. He got tackled wrong, got weird. It was just hurt his shoulder, and then literally like he goes in the tent. The minute he gets out on the tent, they put him on the field and he scores a touchdown. So that's super cool. And that dude's fast, bro. He's so quick. And then we go over to the other side of the ball and we got the defense. Stopping
before
the
you go to
Eagles
the
is hard.
defense, before you go to the defense, yes, you are correct. Michael Gallup has had 22 receptions this year for only 243 yards. Not what you want halfway through the season.
Nope.
Not from your because he's your wide receiver too. Yes, he's like
Yes.
your number 2 guy. That's not
No.
what you want to see from your number 2 guy. You don't
know
want
who
to
just picked up?
see who.
Martavius Bryant. Tell me that name doesn't ring a bell.
Who is that?
He was on your team.
Martavius Bryant.
Last played in the NFL in 2017. Look him up.
Martavius Bryant. I feel like I know this name. Not Martavius Bryant. Oh yeah, dude.
You know exactly. We just signed him.
He's. I mean, where I remember,
Know what to think of it. I don't know anything about it. All I know is they must feel like our wide receiver core isn't good, which is sad.
And they went out and got a guy who hasn't played in years.
Yeah. Well, he's played XFL, so he played in the with the Vegas Vipers that he was on. But like, I mean, I went to the only game I watched was a Vipers Seattle one.
Sea Dragons.
Sea Dragons, thank you. And the Sea Dragons whooped their ass. Like it was pretty bad. So anyways,
that's crazy. So,
we'll see. They picked him up on wide receiver. And what else were you saying about it too? Oh, Michael Gallup. Yeah.
He just for your wide receiver too. It's kind of hard for your wide receiver 1 to have half the catches and almost the same amount of yards in one game. For then your wide receiver 2 to have those numbers. You know what I mean? Like I think CD just went for 11 receptions for 193 yards. Basically, Michael Gallup's whole year in one game. Like
right.
Like, I understand he's your number one, and that's what you expect from him, but your number two should give you something.
Something, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was thinking about it, like I was looking at what your guys is this year. So the other guy who's technically would be a number two, I guess, on the Steelers is
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, it's hard. He is technically our one. Ours is a little bit different though, because Johnson was out for 4 weeks, so we only had one person to throw to.
Yeah, he's only played in 5 games compared
Yeah,
to Michael Gallup's 9.
yeah,
And Deontay Johnson still has 23 targets for 302 yards and a touchdown. So, like, in 9 games, that's all Michael Gallup has done. In 5 games is what
yeah,
Deontay. I shit on Deontay.
yeah. And we do shit on Deontay
Yeah, we
Johnson a
do.
lot because he's
Uh,
fucking. Hey, he got a touchdown though.
Right, he did get a touchdown, but
Oh,
yeah, and
nice.
then our defense, man, our defense it did its job in most situations. Like a lot of it fell to like the offense in certain game time crunch situations, but when we needed them to make a stop, they made a stop. I thought maybe Dan Quinn can make up something to stop the brotherly shove, but I don't. I think it's impossible. I think it's physically impossible to stop
I
the
think
brotherly
that
shove.
that thing is gonna be there forever. One thing
Yeah,
that shocked me was that you guys were able to get as many sacks on this fucking team as you did.
dude, 100%.
Three sacks on this offensive line, like
Yeah,
that proves that you guys were legit.
yeah,
Like it's like and that offensive line is pretty dirty.
yeah. And dude, and it's competitive. Like that's what the thing. Leaving this game, we lost by 4 points. It's not like we got our ass beat. It's not like we didn't have an opportunity to win at the end of the game. Like it was a close game in their house. The thing
Yeah.
is, now they got to come to us and beat us, and they got to beat
Mhm.
us later on in the season. Where hey, where are they at? Where are we at? Who's hitting their stride? Who's where? Right.
Who's
So
injured? Who's not injured? Like that's the big thing too.
and I think it's good because we needed it. We needed to have a tough game. The Eagles now go on like probably the toughest schedule. So I'm glad we beat them up. I'm glad we made it hard for them, and we should have because we need to beat them up. So when we go to by playoff time, they're a little sore, they're a little tired, they're a little, these next games, they have the Chiefs, the Bills, the 49ers, they play the Cowboys again, they play the Seahawks. Think how hard and tough that schedule is just from a defensive standpoint
You're
and an
just
off.
hoping to get to you're hoping to get to the Seahawks unscathed. You're just
Yeah.
hoping to get like to the Seahawks healthy.
And then they end the
After
season.
that little
It's easy. Then they play the Giants, the Cardinals, then the Giants again. So they're going to have a
Giants,
last 3 games
Cardinals.
is going to be cake. But these
Well, I
next,
mean, and you understand this. Your division rival, even if they're bad, are still sure you're gonna beat them. You're gonna probably sweep the Giants. They're gonna take a lot out of you though, because they're your division rival. So you might beat them by 6 points, and it might make you sweat a little bit as an Eagle or a Giant, or as like an Eagles or a Cowboys fan, because you're like, damn, this team's fucking us up somehow, and we
yeah,
beat them by 6 points.
yeah, exactly. That's true. It's always comes down to those, divisional games and stuff like that. That's really big and effective. But still, dude, good luck next week. And you're playing at Arrowhead against the Chiefs. I'm so sorry. That's a tough game. That's an exciting game. Really pumped to watch that. But then the Bills, you play them at home, play the 49ers at home, which they beat them last year to go to the Super Bowl at Lincoln Field. So it will be, dude, this is still going to be a tough little road. And by the time they get to us, I bet you they're tired. I bet you they're going
Yeah,
to be fucking
I bet
sore.
you they are too.
They should be. And that's perfect because that's where we'll get a W. And like if you look at our schedule coming up, it's not as terrible. We play the Giants, next this upcoming week, right? And then I'm
Giants,
looking
easy.
at the rest of it real quick. Sorry, I'm pulling it up.
No, you're good.
Oh dude, yeah. So we got the Giants, the Panthers, the Commanders. Let's get some dubs. Then we have a tough game against the Seahawks,
Okay.
and then we play the Eagles, right? And then from there we have the Bills, the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Commanders. So we got the
Bills,
Bills and the
Dolphins,
Dolphins who are
Lions,
going to be
Command.
tough, and the Lions are tough too. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
they're gonna take you to the end.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think it'll be a good game. I still think it'll be competitive, and we just have an easier road between now and the Eagles than the Eagles have between us. And the
Yeah.
team that we need to beat the most is going to be the Eagles. But yeah, dude. I mean, I'm excited. Good time. It's good to be a Cowboys fan right now. It was a great game. Like I said, I'm super happy with it. I wish a win would have been better, but I'm still happy from what I saw and what I got. And that's really all you can look forward to, man. I'm
It's just
pumped to see what
exciting.
happens.
It's just exciting not to get blown out by your division rival. If you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
lose, you're gonna lose, right? That's whatever, but just not blown out by your division rival.
No, watching it, and I was getting all excited and getting all hyped and pissed and like whatever. And then Cypress was all like, oh, and I was like, you know what though, like we gotta just sit here and just be like, damn, that was a good game. Like
Yep.
at least we played good. It wasn't like it was just miserable to watch. Oh, we're getting our ass beat. Oh, we're getting our ass beat. You know what I mean?
Literally, yeah.
So yeah, exciting. But you know what, dude? I'm ready. I'm done. I got nothing else. I'm looking forward to the Giants. Really, there shouldn't be much to say. Yeah, it's the Giants. They can always play us tough, but they look pretty bad.
Especially
We
with
are on the up
D
and up.
Jones out.
Exactly. And I'm really excited actually to hear about this steel mill. So I think it's time for you to, clock in, put you on your hard hat, and let's move on to the Steelers, man. Because, dude, what a good game last Thursday night. What could have been a shitty game was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, buddy. Well,
I
they
don't know if
put
fun's really
in.
the right word.
Well, if you're a Steelers fan, it was fun. They put in the man, the myth, the legend, Will Levis,
They
kind of
did.
looking pretty good. Like, I understand that the Steelers won, but like
He took you guys to the minute.
he did, and I understand every week. I don't know how I go through this and be like, we won, but my team looks
But
trash.
I know.
My team looks bad. Like, it's just I just wish that, and I think every other Steelers fan can agree. I wish that we had a quarterback that played every quarter like he did in the fourth quarter. He is like unstoppable in the fourth quarter.
He's like
But
slow.
1 through 3, he can't do anything. Like for some reason, he has the most comeback drives in the last last 2 years that they've played. He's had the most comeback drives to win. Like he is just clutch. Like that's the one thing is he's clutch. He may make you sweat the whole fucking game, but he can win a game at the very end, which is like, do you want that? Do you not want that? Like, do you just wish that you had a fucking quarterback that played the same way all fucking game? Yes, I do.
You guys went down there pretty quick. I mean, in the very first drive, you guys scored 7.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's not
I
the
mean, you
thing.
got
It's
a
just
lot of field goals.
yeah, and then finally, Mr. Johnson himself showed up, which was nice.
Yeah.
Getting a touchdown in the last, not the last play, but like the last like little run there. And then yeah, it was a Steelers game. It was defensive heavy. We did what we needed to win. Um, TJ Watt is still silently an assassin. Um, I don't know if that man is if he's gonna break the sack record again.
Who?
Uh,
TJ?
TJ, yeah,
Why? What's he on pace for right now?
he's at he's at 9.5 sacks in the season. 22.5 is like the record. He's a little bit behind, but they've only played 8 games. So if he has 20 sacks for the year, it's kind of insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just he just keeps kind of chugging along. And you know what's you know what's even crazier? Alex Highsmith is right next to him. And I think he has like 7 sacks, 8 sacks in the season.
Hmm.
And he's literally right next to him. And they've been playing out of their mind. Um, our secondary has been falling short, which is not the best. Yeah, he has
What did he do for a sack record? How many was it? 22
22
and a
and a
half?
half. Mm-hmm.
He's at 9.5 right now.
9.5. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible, but it's tough. I mean, you got
Oh,
six
I'd
games,
be
right? No, you got 6 games left. Or no,
like
you got
seven
7. I think you
games.
still have
7 games
7.
left. We had our
That's got to
bye. We
be
so
sometime
he's
2,
yeah, he's looking at like 2 a game at
1 and a
minimum.
half a
Yeah, he's
game.
looking at 2 a game at minimum, and if he gets 2 a game at minimum, that would put him at 21 and a half. So you'd have to have a two sacks minimum and then 3. But he had a game that had 3 sacks, and then he had a game that had 0 sacks. That was his downfall.
Yeah, yeah,
For
yeah,
this year. But it's just he's silently just like kind of chugging away, He's
yeah,
just you don't when you're like, oh, TJ Watt has 9.5 sacks at the halfway through the season. You're like, this guy's on pace to have 20 sacks for the season.
yeah.
A lot of sacks. That's a lot of that's a lot of sacks in a
That is.
season. I'll take that any day of the week. If the record is 22.5, I'll take 20. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
okay. Oh no.
Dude, your
Um,
defense is what carries you for real.
dude, it's
Okay.
just so like, the thing is, it's like we keep winning, so it's gonna happen again and again. We're gonna have this. We might make the playoffs. We might not. We're gonna be that bubble team again. Last year we did not. We did not make the playoffs. But we were that bubble team. So we had the fucking 15th or 17th pick, 15th pick in the draft because we were the last team out. So we had the 15th pick in the draft, and then you just get nobody, right? Like it's like not that I'm trying to be bad or anything, but it's just like how are we doing enough to just barely win? When is this team actually going to be the team that we want to like? I almost would rather tank for a year and like get somebody to really help us out versus
Was there
do this.
anybody like that? What do you
I
need?
mean,
You need a quarterback.
we need a quarterback. That's what I'm saying. If we tank, not that we will have, not that we won't even become close to number one, but if we tank the rest of the year, bro, get us Caleb Williams.
Dude, honestly, trade values got picks. You got things you can give away
Yeah,
and be able to get the first round pick. And honestly, I think the team that is going to end up having it doesn't even want the fucking man.
yeah,
So
because it's
I
going to be the Cardinals or the Bears, right now.
both
Well, if
Kyler Murray and we Bears
if Kyler
could.
Murray comes back and starts winning games, like because they've been in competitive games with Josh Dobbs, and I think that Josh Dobbs is not. He's a good quarterback. He's not as good as Kyler. Kyler has more natural talent. And
Yeah,
if he's been doing what he should be doing all this rest time and really studying film and really understanding honing the quarterback craft because he's been getting so much shit that he doesn't do that. If he's really on that path right now, then they almost got a free ticket. I understand tearing an ACL is like not great. I did it, I understand. But like they have a quarterback who didn't watch any film or didn't study any film. You were given the golden opportunity to study film. You
yeah,
literally can't do anything else. It's like
yeah, exactly. He played Call
you
of Duty.
can't. Yeah, you can play Call of Duty. Okay, it's like, dude, if I think we talked about this, I think we said it, but like if some team was like, hey, here's guaranteed 185 million dollars for 5 years, you just can never play Call of Duty again. I'd be like, fucking break every fucking system I have in my house. I don't care.
Yeah, you're paying me a lot of money.
But yeah, so the Cowboys, I mean not the Cowboys, the Steelers, bro.
Yeah.
They're
You guys barely won.
they're
That interception at the end of the game, I mean, he threw it in the end zone. Like
yeah.
you guys were in good position, but like it was there for a moment where
Yep.
they might score.
Yep, it was a little butt clincher for
But
sure.
your defense
Um,
always,
always
always,
finds a way.
dude.
So, and is that it? But is that the perfect story of what a Super Bowl caliber? I'm not saying that we're a Super Bowl caliber team. I don't think we are. But isn't that what always happens? Is you have this team that has an okay offense, except for if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. But you have this team that has an okay offense, but then this defense that just doesn't let anybody score. And if you have an okay offense that can score 14 points a game and have a defense that doesn't let anyone score, it's
Yeah.
like it's like us in fantasy. Like I have these crazy fantasy numbers. I know that I'm not undefeated anymore. I'm not undefeated, but it's like I have these crazy fantasy numbers. But you can score whatever you want on me. But these numbers were whatever. We'll get into that later. So I know you want to talk about that. But yeah, so the steel mill, we're still heating up. We're still, I don't know. I'm so mixed on this fucking season. 5-3. All four teams are in the playoffs right now in the AFC North. I think that would be fun if we can all make the playoffs.
Dude,
That would
crazy.
be a.
We talk shit on this division again to start. This division has been all over the
I,
place. I
dude, I
I
have no
don't
idea.
think anybody understands it, dude. Yeah, no
they're
one understands.
starting to look like the division that everyone thought they were going to be. In the beginning, it was like, where the fuck? Why the fuck these Steelers keep winning, and why
Yeah,
the fuck are these Bengals not winning? And then it went to, okay, the Browns are trash, and then it went to, how are all these teams still winning?
Right. Think about this. You're in second place in your division just because of the head-to-heads, but
Yeah,
you've only scored 133 points. The Bengals
yeah,
are the second lowest at 155. And
yeah.
you guys have score though you scored against you guys. It's actually a pretty high number, 163. But like that's compared to the Cincinnati's 162, Bengals 140. Like, but there's some
I
other
don't
teams
remember
here.
what game it was, but did we get blown out
You got
in a
blown out by
game? I remember um earlier this season we got
30 to
fucking
6 by the Texans.
there it is. We got blown. So I mean, like, even if you just take that out of like the
Oh,
160,
and your
one,
beginning game. So you got 30. So every other game has been a one score game
that's right.
except your 49ers and your Texans.
That's right. So you take out 60 points from that, and you take out 14 points is what we scored. I think 13 points is what we scored against those two teams. You take 60 from the away, 13 from the four. Like
Still
it
looking pretty
looks
good. Your
pretty
offense
good.
looks like shit. Yeah,
Our
your
offense is
offense
pretty
looks bad.
fucking bad. Our offense is pretty bad. And I won't try to even stand up for them. We just can't. Deontay Johnson, I'm happy to have him back. He's looking good. He's looking like he would have what he should have looked like last year. He did good last year. It was just we wanted some touchdowns, and he finally got one, which was nice. Um, George Pickens is going to be George Pickens. There's a lot of controversy around him. I'm like, if
What?
he's feeling like he's used correctly, if his usage is nice, and it's like, guys, he's a second year receiver at a wide receiver too. His usage shouldn't be fucking every ball thrown to him. His usage should be like he's open and he's going to be a good receiver. So throw to him in clutch moments too.
Yeah. It's like
So
he's
it's
kind of
just
being a baby for not getting the ball. And like I just like I kind of saw that and I was reading on it while you were kind of talking a little bit because he's talking about his frustration.
yeah.
Right. And just like how the team has to like talk him through because he was the one that got the touchdown and stuff like that. Um, it just like it's kind of funny that they're like they really have to baby him. Like and one of these things that says, I had a good talk with him, Deontay Johnson. He understood and I understand where he was coming from. Nobody's perfect. You can't knock him. But at the same time, he's human. Like, what? Like
He just
it's
wants to
like
be the best receiver in the world. Remember, he said I'm the greatest wide receiver in the world. He wants to be that so bad that I think he has a little bit of that,
yeah. So I don't
that
know when
like
this is November 8th. It says Steelers wide receiver George Pickens hid the
today.
Steelers post from his IG grid on Friday because he was clearing out his page. It's got nothing to do with the Steelers. And despite after what the camera showed, he wasn't frustrated after Deontay Johnson's touchdown. So like I guess afterwards he looked pissed. Well, like, why you gotta be a baby back bitch? That kind of sucks for you. Like, that's kind of annoying.
I don't care. You know
Girls
why I
too.
don't care? The Steelers, for some reason, the one thing that they can pick are wide receivers. They are a factory of wide receivers. So if you don't want to get in line with what their Steelers and what a team does, then we can just pick someone else in the fucking
Like,
draft.
hey, there's your
You
first
know what I
round
mean?
capital right there.
Yeah, literally. But then, you know what I mean? Like it's like, hey, if you we can take we picked we picked all kinds of crazy
Antonio
receivers.
Brown was like
Antonio
a 6 round pick.
Brown, Juju Smith Schuster. I understand he turned out to be what he is, but he was good for those 2 3 years that he was on our team. Uh
Technically, who's the dude that? Oh my god, what's his name? Oh my god, who scored a touchdown for the Steelers in the Cardinals Super Bowl?
oh, it's Antonio Holmes.
Antonio Holmes. There was one more guy you guys used to have, and he
Uh
was, I think
I mean
he
Hines Ward,
Plexico Burris.
and Plexico Burris, Antoine Randall. I don't know if we drafted Antoine Randall. I think the Commander or the Redskins at the time did. Um,
But
but like we just have no problem of getting receivers. So it's like get in line or get out. You know.
so you think you would use
Um,
him as trade bait?
I don't know. They don't trade. They are not a trading team. They're
No.
not a team that's going to trade. They build through the offseason and they build through the draft. They're not a trade team, trade centric team. So I mean, I don't know if we will ever trade like that, but other than that, the Steelers are the Steelers, and we're gonna probably keep winning games. We're gonna be above 500. I just hope we make the playoffs so we can actually see our bet through.
Yeah, I know, man. Hopefully, because yeah, you want to sweat a little bit. You want it to actually be a chance, not for
I want it to be a bet, I want it to be something,
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but you know who did get traded and who did talk a lot this coming up to this game? A
Uh,
little bit of Frankfurt action. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Miami Dolphins.
were you
Did
expecting
you
that?
watch this game? Did you watch the score or the talk?
Bro, fuck no. No, the score of the game. I did not wake up to watch that. That's like 6
Oh,
a.m. or 9 a.m.
yeah,
my time.
I
I ain't
was in
watching that.
Arizona, so it was same. The one thing, actually, I was up and I started watching the game because of my kiddo. But the one
Makes
thing,
sense.
yeah, that I didn't understand is what a boring game. I thought it was gonna be way more fun. It was all Chiefs and then all Dolphins. It wasn't like back and forth like I wanted it to be. I think like we all
Yeah.
wanted like a high scoring, like 48-46 game. You know what I mean? It turned out to be a 21-14 game. And talk about
Boring.
shooting yourself in the foot, dude, at the end. Tua with that horrible fourth down snap fumble to lose the game.
Were they in a position to
Oh,
win?
dude, well, so if I remember correctly, they got a false start, pushed them back 10 yards. Then they got a sack, which you couldn't take. And then on fourth down, if I'm remembering correctly, and then on fourth down, they're on like the 40-yard line of the Chiefs, and they had a chance. They just needed a first down, and it was like first and fourth and like 12 or something like that. Doable, doable.
Was the downs play like where you fumbled? Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they were
And you just
fourth and 10 at the Kansas City 31.
okay,
But you
so I was
can't
close.
fumble. But like every play leading up to that, incomplete, incomplete, incomplete. They were throwing like this is deep left, deep left.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Cowboys game with the false start and the moving back. Is that correct?
What's up?
That last play, the last play of the Cowboys, did they get like a couple penalties where they got pushed back on that? Okay, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was the Dolphins as the Cowboys. But the Dolphins, yeah, they just like that fourth down. What are you doing, Tua? How are you fumbling that ball? The number one thing should be in your mind is catch the fucking ball.
Yeah. Well, fourth
Get
down didn't matter. Like, if he was gonna get sacked, didn't really
well,
matter.
I mean, he didn't even. It just the play was over instantly. He fucking fumbled the ball. They didn't even get a chance to even make a play or like do something.
Wait, he fumbled it on the
So
snap.
on this, no, dude, he fumbled on the snap. So it was just like it was hike, boom, and it was off to the right a little bit, and he just fumbled it, and then had to fall on it immediately, and it was game over. You know,
That
can't do it.
sucks.
Can't do
What
it.
are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? Well, yeah, what a
Um,
boring game. Tyreek talks so much
yeah,
shit about this one and like getting ready to beat him and want to beat him in Kansas City and do this. Dude, when the Dolphins play a good team, they're hella underwhelming.
they break down. I don't understand. They played the Bills last week, right? Was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
I think it was 2 weeks ago because the last time I was in market. They played the Bills, did not look great, and then they played the Kansas City Chiefs, and they just like
So it's so funny because all the
didn't
teams
ball
that
out.
they beat the shit out of them, right? But they beat these shitty teams like the
They
Chargers, the
did not.
Patriots, the Broncos. Then they got their ass whooped by the Bills. Then they beat the Giants, the Panthers. They lost to the Eagles. Then they beat the Patriots, and then they lose to the Chiefs. So like when they come tough games, they don't really win those.
Damn,
And that's why that's
they've
my
lost to some
dilemma
pretty
with
good
Miami.
teams.
Miami is a powerful team, and that offense is crazy dangerous. But when you can't win the big Hona, when you can't win the big games, what makes you think you have a Super Bowl run? What makes you think
Is
you can
that
get deep into the playoffs?
is this like the Kyle Shanahan thing where he can get to the Super Bowl but can't finish it? You know?
Dude, they got to make it to the fucking playoffs. They got to win games in the playoffs. They haven't even won a game in the playoff.
Yeah,
And
Mike
last year, let's
McDaniel's
give it
is
all. It was Tua's crazy death. I'm gonna call it Tua's death year, basically.
yeah, that was wild.
But like still, like, dude, I mean, they're such a hyped team for not winning big games. Like looking at those, that kind of like surprises you a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really weird that they
It's okay, you got this.
um
Get it out.
no, I was just making I was gonna make a dumb like analogy. I know another team that can score a lot of points against bad teams, but then when it comes to some playing someone good in fantasy, their team doesn't show up. But
What are you looking at?
I was just making a joke about how my team didn't show up for fantasy this week. When you play a good team, your team doesn't show
You
up.
keep adding it because when it gets closer, it's just even more sweet. I know you choke,
Fucking dumb. Eh,
but
I
talking about people
the
who
Miami
don't choke, Josh
dude.
Dobbs.
I don't know why the Cardinals traded Josh Dobbs
That
away. I
was the
understand you have
coolest
Kyler Murray.
thing.
I understand you have Kyler Murray coming back, and I understand that was like the whole point. Why don't you let Kyler sit for the full year, make sure he's fully healthy because you don't want him to come back. How many fucking quarterbacks have we seen this year get injured? I think it's three now, right? Uh, no, four. Daniel Jones, um, what's his
Aaron
name?
Rodgers,
Garoppolo got hurt for a little bit. Aaron Rodgers and uh, Kirk
Stafford's out.
Cousins.
Stafford's out.
Stafford's out. They just signed. Who did they sign again? They just signed. It's gonna eat me alive. Who did the
You know
Rams
who it is.
just sign?
You know who it is. I don't like him.
I I know who it is. Carson Wentz, bro. The double fucking ankle tear, whatever he did. Like fucking. What are you
I think he
like?
broke both his knees, but the
Something
double
like that.
ankle tear. I can't believe they signed him. I was like, what? But I mean, like
Yeah, that must
ultimately,
mean Stafford's out for a while. If they signed a backup quarterback like that, that must mean Stafford's out for a
let me make
minute.
sure he is
There's
out.
no reason that you sign up a backup quarterback if he's gonna be out for a week or two. You just fucking take the
Yeah,
games as they are.
yeah, because
Um,
Ripien did. So, and that's what sucked and that's what I was talking about last week, man. And this is what pisses me off about this is because I was like, dude, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with the Green Packers because the Rams, he's hurt, and Chris, fucking asshole, fucking
did he get
asshole.
in your head?
He did,
Oh, because he's a big non-Packers fan.
yeah, and he's at
You should
Matthews.
know this.
He said that dude will play through anything.
And he didn't play.
No, no. He said
But
he'll be
yeah, but
back after the Rams. So, like. Yeah.
after the bye,
Yeah. So he has
I
he
don't
has that
know,
sprained thumb. I think he tried to play in it and then didn't play.
didn't play.
I,
Um, to take nothing away though from Josh Dobbs, what a fucking guy to be a
dude,
starting quarterback for 8 weeks. Do pretty decent. I know your record doesn't show you did decent, but like, holy shit, you played some games that you should not have won. I mean, they beat the Cowboys. They played hard against teams that they should not have played hard against. And then
yeah.
you get traded because Kirk Cousins unfortunately tore his Achilles, damn Achilles again. Um, I understand. I will side tangent. I understand that Christopher hates Kirk Cousins. Dude,
People love
he's
him.
such a hard guy not to like. Have you watched anything about him?
I
He
hear all
is,
the coaches things, but or like the quarterback video from Netflix.
yeah, the quarterback video from now. And then do you know what he was doing while he had two Achilles or he tore his Achilles? You know what he was doing on the Sunday? Instead of playing football, he was playing catch with his son while watching football. Like it, it's just hard not to like this guy. He just seems
Yeah.
like such a good guy. I understand Chris like has his own thing with him, but he hates him that he's bad or he's
He
I
hates
don't
it for his
understand.
inconsistency, in which what that is one thing about Kirk Cousins. Like, and that's where like, dude, people hate on Dak for the exact same thing. I
Yep.
love Dak because I love who he is as a person, right? He's a very
Yeah.
caring person. He's been through a lot
Yeah.
personally
Walter
to be
Payton Man
where
of the
he's
Year.
at, it's like a whole crazy thing. And I think the same for him. It's like he technically at some points shouldn't really be here. But he has fun
You
playing.
like that? You like that?
He's just his character, dude. He's himself, like authentically. Like I think he still drives that dumbass minivan that he bought his first
Good
one
for
or
him,
something shit
bro.
like that. Right, dude. He's just a cheap guy. He's your basic white American male, like from the suburbs. I've
I
pitched
wouldn't be surprised if
pennies.
he grew up in the South.
Oh, dude.
I don't know
He's
where
a
he's
good
from, but I
dude.
wouldn't be surprised if he's from there.
But he's a cool dude. But dude, to see what Josh Dobbs did was so fun and
Yeah.
so creative. And it's cool because like dude, he didn't know nothing. He didn't know like it's
Nope.
so funny because they're like he didn't know his names, he didn't know this. They were literally telling him play routes. But that is what the most impressive thing is and that's why he's so fucking smart. I know
That's an athlete right there.
he's an astrophysicist or what
Astronaut. I don't know.
basically he works at
He
NASA
yeah.
or something.
Did you know they call him the pastronaut?
Engineer. He's a
He's an engineer.
aerospace
Yeah,
engineer.
aerospace. He's a pastronaut because he passes the football as an astronaut. Dude, what the fuck?
Dude, so smart. And come in
He's
there and
so
have
smart.
I love it because they signed him not knowing what the fuck would happen. He's been passed around the league, and he said, "You know what? Let me go get a dub." He got a dub for his team, who could still be a playoff contender.
I don't know what this does for Joshua Dobbs, but going to two teams and let's see how because he'll probably start the rest of the season for the Vikings. I'm guessing after that. I want to see what he does for the rest of the season. I wouldn't be hard pressed if a team takes him to maybe have a quarterback competition, like maybe a Atlanta takes him to have a QB competition with Riddle. Maybe I don't know who else out there. You're not gonna do it, Bryce Young. You're not gonna do it, CJ Stroud. There's a handful of teams out there that probably could love a quarterback competition or like a gap year quarterback. Hey, I need somebody just to fill in this year. Let's take Josh Dobbs.
I'm on the Rams. Matthew Stafford's been injured the last 3 years. They paid him some
Yeah.
money. He's not really looking hot. Shit, the
And
Patriots.
then but like just to even finish it on that play, come in as a backup. Don't like you said, don't know anything, and then to finish it on that crazy play.
What a
Good for
spark.
him.
What a
I'm
cool
happy,
game.
Josh Dobbs. Alpha Pisha all the way, bro.
Alpha Peach.
Um, how about your team that did not show up? Your second team because you live there. Um, the Seahawks just didn't shit the
No.
bed, bro. What happened there?
Seahawks shit the bed, but the Ravens were dominant. That's the difference. The
Man,
Ravens had a dominant performance, and their defense had a dominant performance. They had like a couple fumbles, interception. Like they were all over that field.
the Ravens are starting to look scary. I'm not looking forward to playing them again. They look scary. They look like the team that they should be all year.
Yep.
Um, they're secretly 7-2. They are a team that's kind of I don't know how to say like they're quiet. They should not be 7-2 with the amount of injuries they had and the amount of like shit they've had to go through. 7-2, pretty fucking rough.
That is
That
very,
that's
very rough.
crazy that they're like that good with how bad they were. It's rough that they didn't lose more games. I'm saying that that's rough because I'm a Steelers fan. They should have lost more games. They did lose to the Steelers, which is great. Um, don't know if we'll get the second one, but we're going to. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to Gino. Did not show up. Kenneth Walker needs to figure out how to run the fucking ball. Okay, get
He's
it
getting.
together, big guy.
I know,
Get
dude.
it to bed. Yeah,
It's
get it together.
16 yards. But that's like okay. That's the hard part. Let's just say this defense is really good, and they only got a fumble and an interception, but then they held them on a lot of good plays.
Ugh.
The Baltimore's defense has always been really really good, and Gino didn't play his best, but like it sounds just from what it looks like, it didn't really have much of supporting cast at all.
No, I mean like no. Uh where's DK? He had one reception for 50 yards.
Yeah,
Where's more of that? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um Lockett did Lockett things. He's quiet 3 for 32. Yo, Jackson Smith, I don't know how to say his last name. Najiba.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm gonna
I
go
think
with
that's how you
Najigba. Because there's an
did good. He's finally
Ningib
doing something. He
Jigba.
wasn't doing
Najiba.
shit for a
Yeah.
while.
6 for 63 yards. He's gonna be good. I mean, you saw him at Ohio State. He did good.
You know
Just
who's
he's a
sad
rookie,
though this year?
Who?
My guy DK. He's kind of
DK,
quiet.
yeah, he's been quiet.
Well,
He hasn't been doing much in the fantasy realms either.
in the game against the Browns, though, he was targeted 14 times and caught the ball 5 times. So it could have been like, depending on where he's at, like in this Baltimore game they just lost, he was targeted 4 times and caught one.
Caught one.
So
And that's
yeah,
rough.
so it's kind of
That's
just
that's a little
interesting.
rough.
Like, dude, he could
We'll
be someone.
see. Yeah, what is the Seahawks record now?
5-3, and they're leading their
Five
division.
and three. Okay, it's going to be because they're definitely probably a playoff team with that division.
Yeah,
No, they're not leading the division. They're beating the fucking 49ers. That's a shocker. Don't understand how the 49ers suck now, which is good.
they just lost 3 games.
But
That's it, man.
in a row and not
Well,
very
I don't know if they're actually still at 3.
Yeah, they're 5-3, and do they have a head-on-head game with them? Is
No,
that
they
why
are.
they're?
No, so they're 5-3, and now they're winning. They're leading it. It looks like the 49ers are, but they're both in its divisional games. So San Fran's 2-0 in divisional games, and the Seahawks are 1-1.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why they have a barely a lead on them. And if the 49ers don't get it together quick, the Seahawks could pass them. I understand they lost, but they lost to a good team. The team is going to be that Baltimore team is good. And I don't know. Lamar is doing Lamar things. You know who could be the next Lamar though?
Oh, let's not compare him to Lamar. Let's compare him to someone
What are you
better, like
talking
better
about?
passing. Are you talking
Better
about our guy CJ Stroud?
CJ Stroud, bro.
Are you
I would
just comparing because
say
he's a rookie?
I don't know because he's a mobile-ish quarterback, and that's like the best mobile-ish quarterback in the league right now. CJ Stroud's not mobile. He's pretty mobile.
Not like that. If I'm
I mean,
comparing
I
anybody,
guess Lamar is like a running back.
yeah, I
Uh,
don't.
Patrick Mahomes, maybe more of like that secretly like compare him to whoever the
No,
fuck you want
okay,
to compare
this
him
is
to.
way over the top, but I almost call him like Aaron Rodgers because he just knows how to move in the pocket. It's not like he's scrambling like a Patrick Mahomes doing wild plays. It's not like he's running like a Lamar.
Okay,
He's
I
like a
get
good
that because
pocket presence. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I get that because he had 0 carries for 10 yards. Don't know
I
how the
compare him
fuck
to like a
that.
Dak Prescott.
Don't know how that. I would say that, yeah, a young who has a better, I guess, a higher ceiling coming out of the draft than Dak
Yeah,
Prescott because Dak Prescott should not be where Dak Prescott
no,
is
an
coming out
elevated
of the
Dak.
draft. Yeah. I don't know how this works, but CJ Stroud had 0 carries for 10 yards. So that's
Probably just
insane.
ran it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking that's insane. Don't know what the
but
fuck happened there. What he
dude,
did have though was 470 yards and 5 touchdowns. What in there was no damn defense in fucking this whole game. You had your ex tight end who went crazy. And who the fuck is Tank Dell?
Tank Dell has been a beast all season, bro.
Oh, I understand, but is he a rookie? Who is this
Yeah, he's
guy?
a
Like
rookie.
he this team is young and looking to like I understand they're 4-4. I would have never thought that the
They can win
Houston
this
Texans would be
division.
4-4. Yeah, because who else is in their division? The fucking
Saints,
Titans,
they're 5-4.
the Saints.
Oh
The
no,
Saints
the
don't look
Texans.
that
Sorry,
great.
the Texans are the Titans, but and then they have the Colts and
Or
shit,
the
Jags.
Jaguars. The
Yeah, the Jags.
Jaguars will probably win that division because they're fucking good.
They are really good.
Um, they're fucking. They look sexy. But
No, I don't think they look sexy, but they look good. But this was a great game. I think the Texans have beat them up a couple times, which they did. They actually beat the Jags, didn't they?
yeah,
Or the
not this
Colts
year,
beat the
did they?
Jags. I think the
The,
Colts beat the Jags.
the Colts beat the
No,
Jags.
Texans did.
No,
Texans beat the
when?
Jags 37-17 in week 3.
Oh, that's right. And we were like, well, the Jags are done. I do remember that. We were like, well, Jags are over.
This team is impressive. I don't think anybody thought they would be here, and I didn't think they think CJ Stroud would be this ahead of it by this time. But he looks really great. The team is like, just saying. I wish there's been more defense in this, especially from your head coach being a defensive stand kind of guy. Like
Yeah.
you definitely needed. But dude, 5 TDs, 470 yards. That Rosie loved him last week. I bet.
Rosie Adamant, I made her pick him up in both leads. When you told me to pick her up, pick him up, I was like, I'll pick him up in both leads. Dude, she was losing by 35 points in one of her leagues and ended up winning because she had CJ Stroud at the fucking helm.
She just wants to win, huh?
Yeah, she was getting it. But you know who I'm happy? Baker. I understand he's 3-5. He's been playing well.
Yeah,
He
it's
was
been fun.
21 for 30. Like that's pretty damn good for
Yeah,
2 touchdowns. Like,
just wasn't enough to win.
I mean, well, when you have a fucking opposite quarterback go 470 for
Yeah,
5 touchdowns, that's hard to fucking beat, you know?
the
It's,
defense
it's
couldn't stop him.
yeah, their defense
Not
and
on Baker.
I'm like you said, I'm shocked that the Houston defense has been pretty good overall. The fact that they let up that many points to the Bucks, pretty shocking.
Well, good for Baker. And I did. I made Cypress pick Baker up in our league because I was like, dude, I mean, he's consistent in points.
Does
He's
well.
durable. He's got a second coming. It's kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Thinking of people
Um,
who weren't good. Well,
Two
I
teams
think
that should have been shit, but actually don't know what happened to that
Vegas
team.
looked excited. They looked like a whole different team. Josh
Smoking
McDaniels
cigars
was
after
the
fucking
cancer.
yeah, smoking cigars after the win. I heard that they didn't let the practice squad on the sidelines during the practice, which makes zero sense because if you need to pull one of those guys up, they need to know and see what the offense is doing each week. And it's only 13 more guys. It's not like you're adding a fucking squad onto the sideline. Literally 13 more people.
Yeah.
So they brought them back onto the sideline. This Antonio Pierce is gonna fucking change this season around, hopefully.
Yeah.
This O'Donnell
Well,
guy actually looks pretty good.
like, dude, this is kind of weird to say, but they're sitting at 4-5. Like, yeah, they beat a really bad Giants team, and they have some tough games kind of
But
coming up.
they didn't beat a bad they dominated. 30 to
Yeah.
6 is a pretty fucking beatdown. Like that's a beatdown.
There's a couple games where like the Bears they probably shouldn't have lost, but then they were still in that same situation. If Antonio Pierce is this guy who we just watched last week, and this is the new version of this team, this could be a really exciting team to watch towards the end of the season. And they play the Dolphins in 2 weeks. They play the Jets next week, which is going to be that's a tough. When I think about a tough game, that's a tough game.
The Jets have been so weird though. They
It's
did
just
not.
it
Their
really
defense is
clicks
so good.
and it just they can't do shit on offense. And I don't know how
They're
you
a
finish this year and be like, yeah, Zach Wilson can still be this guy.
they're a worse version of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like they're what the Pittsburgh Steelers would be if we had actually a bad quarterback. Our quarterback is like, it's like fuck, I don't know if we want him anymore. But it's like, look what we could be because look, they have Garrett Wilson, they have Brees Hall, they have a pretty solid offensive line. It's not like they have more. It's not like the Steelers have more talent than them. It's they are just the Pittsburgh Steelers with a little bit worse defense and a worse offense. You know, like their defense probably isn't as good as the Steelers, but it's still a high caliber defense. What?
You're just you're very lovable about your defense, and I'm not gonna break your heart. But that secondary on that Jets team is
Okay,
a million times better than yours, and that
take the
offensive
secondary.
line is so
Well,
fucking.
okay, let me take this back. Let me take this back. Their defensive, I think their defense
Their
just
defense
gets
is
in
better.
trouble. Their defense, it's not better. I think it's not better. Not better. I want you to look up right now, according to not even just look up right now. Rank the defenses from some fucking ESPN website or whatever. Look up what the defensive rank is. Um, because I'm gonna guess it's probably Cowboys, 49ers, Steelers will be up there. Who else is like has a dominating defense? uh, the Jets are gonna be up there for sure. Um, not Miami, not the Bill. The Bills' defense is okay. It's not crazy. Um,
Okay, so I just want to see real quick if the Jets are higher than the Steelers on this list.
yeah, just a random list. I don't
Okay,
care what list it is.
so kind of okay. So this was through week 9, and the Jets set at 9 because they gave up
Okay,
only 312 points and 14 total touchdowns.
okay.
Okay. The Steelers, I think, are arguably way too far down on this list, but they gave up 377 yards and 15 touchdowns. So they've given up a lot more. And they've added another touchdown, right?
What are
So
you
I
talking about? Wait, go back to the Jets. How many did the Jets give up?
312.
And
You're 377.
but how many touchdowns?
14 and 15. So Jets
Oh,
have
okay.
14, the Steelers have
Okay.
15.
So we
And I
we've given up
don't like
we've
and
given
that's
up
for
60 more yards. Is that right?
yeah, and that's total
Okay.
defense. Like to me, that's total defense. That's not like
Yeah.
X this and that. So and they put you guys at rank 31st. I don't agree with it.
What
Okay.
the
Right. So, but in this section where you're talking about
whoa.
passing defenses,
Okay.
they
No, I
are
know we
number
have a
three.
horrible
The Jets are number 3, and you're
Yeah,
sitting at 25. Then in rushing defense, they
that's where
sit
we.
at number. Oh shit, Jets. They're low. They're 30,
Yeah,
and you guys are high on that list. You guys are sitting at higher, 29. So Jets. I lie.
okay.
And
I don't
scoring
understand what.
defenses. That's where you guys are kind of in the mid. So you're scoring. The fact that your defense can score is what's saving you for the
Yeah,
most part, and your red zone because you guys are 8th in the red zone.
see, this is so. I guess that's where we have a bend but don't break mentality. We allow a lot of yards, but we don't allow touchdowns. Does that make sense? Like we
Yeah.
don't allow like when we allow people to score on us, we allow people. But you got to take into consideration too. We had two teams that scored 30 points on us. Of course, we're gonna have high total touchdowns and high yardage, but we had two teams that scored points on us. I would say, and just thinking about like watching the game was it last night? Watching the game last night. Um, was it last night? Was the Jets game last night or was it Sunday night?
They were last night. They're Monday night.
They were last night.
No, Monday.
It was yeah, they had Quentin Williams. Uh they have his brother as a linebacker. That guy's pretty fucking cool. So Quentin Williams as D tackle, and then it's a Q2 Williams as a linebacker, and then they got Mayo, and then that secondary is nasty. I will say, okay, maybe they are better than us. Maybe I'm just a little biased, but
Just on paper.
um,
Like it doesn't mean like they are, but on paper they are better.
yeah.
Like
And
I don't know.
what I will say though is maybe why I don't think that they're better is because their offense can't fucking score and do anything. At least our offense can move a ball a little bit, right? Like it's like, hey, we're gonna give you 90 yards and no touchdown, but we kept the ball off. We kept you guys off the sidelines for 7 minutes. It was
You know
like
what's so
cool.
funny?
Huh.
Pulling a Chris and you because this was all started off of the Vegas and the Giants game. I don't know how we got here. And I was thinking that I was like, how the fuck did we get here?
I don't
So we
know.
talked a little bit about Monday night. But dude, either way or
Let's go
not,
to Sunday night.
yes.
Let's
Well,
just
I
fuck
guess the
it
only other
and
thing I thought about the Vegas that we haven't talked about that is so in the news and so heavy is Josh McDaniels and who he was as a leader and as a person.
they
What do you
can't
take
get
of
their
all
head coach right. I haven't really heard much about it, but they had John Gruden right before him, and then they had Josh McCown. They like for the last two head coaches, they cannot get their head coach correctly. I don't know what you're about to say about Josh McDaniels. Was he just like a tyrant? Is that what I'm
So
getting from
he's
this?
kind of like he just had bad. He created bad vibes in the locker room. Like I think he wasn't
Hmm.
cohesive with it.
Not a player's coach,
Obviously the
huh?
schemes wasn't working. They had said there had been like they're comparing something to the Patriots, and he was really upset. Like he was just basically kind of snapped at it, like we hey don't talk about the Patriots or hey like this, right? He was just a little bit more controlling. It seems like, and that just
Hmm.
created that bad juju, dude. And it's funny that that's all it took to get rid of and to kind of have this change. But
Well,
that's crazy, man.
the thing is, they cost themselves $85 million. Or yeah, 85 million. What the fuck? 85
You
million
know
dollars for a
what?
head coach?
Shout out to that man.
Yeah,
Shout
good
out
for
to that
you.
owner, Mark Davis. You're the man. He said, you know what? This isn't working. This is going to eat at me, but I want my players win. He is a players owner, and that's
And
so dope because he really wants the team to be successful. He
he's
wants
like,
people to be great.
I'll eat 85 if you guys are gonna be good. And then
He's
look
making
what they
so
did
much
for
money,
him.
bro. You know how much money he's making in Vegas?
Yeah.
Dude, the best thing they ever did was move to Vegas.
Oh, 100%. And then the fact now, like the fact of the week, the first week after, I understand it's a change, whatever, but look how much fun they're having. That I think that's the
He did
difference.
with a rookie
Even if they
quarterback
would
that
have,
no one knows.
yeah, even if they would have lost, they look like they're having fun, right?
Yeah.
They look like they're a little bit lighter. The it looks like they're having fun out there, which is nice. You know who else looks like they're having fun? The fucking Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, they look like a fucking team again.
You want to talk about a team that can't beat good teams? You're looking at it. The Buffalo
Yeah.
Bills. Like, yeah, they
Buffalo
beat
Bills,
Miami, but when they play tough teams, they struggle. Josh
dude,
Allen is a turnover machine. Dude, they hate on Dak for fucking interceptions, but that dude has the most interceptions
he is a gunslinger for through and through.
through and through.
He needs to realize that he is not it to be you cannot be a gunslinger in the NFL anymore. Like it's just not a thing. The defensive backs are way too damn good. Like defensive backs are fucking crazy good now. Like they are they are the athletes of athletes. You can't just gunsling on them anymore. No matter how good your wide receiver is and Stephon Diggs, when you have a fucking Sauce Gardner or when you have a fucking Trayvon Diggs like guarding them, it's like not a thing. Like it's not a thing you want to do anymore.
Yeah. And Joey B just looks like himself again. This has been some I love watching the Bengals because they are fun. And out of all the teams like to root for, I know they're in your division, but like the Bengals are kind of like the Lions, or they're kind of like a team that no one really cares about, but like you kind of like see them like, oh shit, that's cool. It's different, it's unique. And I love that. I love that the Bengals are actually good. They're a small market team. They've just paid their man a ton of money to stay with them for a future to go. Their
Yeah, they did.
uniforms are probably some of the sickest in the league. That orange and black tiger stripe is just so clean.
I will say,
Um,
I hate the Cincinnati Bengals, but I like them the best out of our division. And that is still like not saying much, but they are the team I hate the least out of our division.
100%.
And I think what they get from me is I love Joey B. That
Yeah.
guy is cool. That guy is somebody that you would want to play for. That guy is a leader. And he just seems like a really good quarterback. You know what I mean? Like he's all around, like not just playing, but also in the locker room. He seems like he'd be a player's quarterback. He just like seems like he'd be like someone fun to like lead under. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
I
dude,
mean, yeah.
I wraps it up for football for me, man.
NFL,
I
dude,
got nothing
done.
else.
We do have another whole other sport that is one of the most recognized sports in the world, actually.
Yeah.
It is, I think, second, maybe first. I don't know which one it is.
No, probably second compared to football.
Yeah, compared to
Soccer.
soccer. Yeah,
Yeah.
football. Compared to soccer, I would say it's probably second, but a pretty high sport. And in the NBA, and there's been a lot of talk and a lot of commercials about a in-season tournament. We had a little talk before. And NBA, we have just a real quick question for you. What the fuck is an in-season tournament? You know what I mean? Like, why would you make something and then not describe what it is? That is just my 2 cents. I've
Probably
watched the
did. We just
commercials.
haven't paid attention.
Nope, I've been paying attention, bro. Fuck them. I don't understand. They just keep saying in-season tournament and then like having games, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know if you looked it up. We're gonna do a live reaction to this thing. Did you look it up or did you not look it up?
I'm reading it right. I'm not reading it, but I'm about to read it. So basically, it tipped off Friday, November 3rd. It's not every game, it's not all games, it's certain games, and they have those designated. And the semifinals then will take place on Thursday, December 7th, and the championship would be on Saturday, December 9th. And it
And
will be taking
so,
place in Las Vegas. And so it's an easy
cool.
tournament that consists of two stages, a group play and a knockout round. So, and it says this in the group play. All 30 teams have been randomly drawn into a group of 5 within their conference based on wins and losses from 2022 and 2023. Beginning
Okay.
November 3rd and continuing to Thursday, November 28th, each team will play 4 designated group play games on tournament nights. 1 game against each opponent in its group, with 2 games at home and 2 on the road. That's the first stage of it. So they have to win those games. Obviously, that'll kind of give it to them. And then you have the knockout round. So 8 teams will advance to the knockout rounds. So the team with the best standing in group play games in each of the 6 groups and 2 wild cards. So they're going to take the 6 best teams, and then they're going to add 2 wild cards. So people who would, and this says the team from each conference with the best record in group play games that finished second in its group. So it's basically going to be, I think, one
Man, they're
Western,
just
one
trying
Eastern.
anything to get people to watch fucking NBA.
Well, I think too, this incentivizes like players to play
To
consistently
play.
throughout the season.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will say that. Yeah,
Um,
maybe because do you get a bonus or do you get something for winning the in tournament season?
yep. Yes, absolutely. And so it says right here, the knockout rounds will be single elimination game. In quarterfinals, they'll take place. 8 played in NBA team markets on the 4th and then the 5th of December, and then obviously we'll have the finals. So they'll take them and kind of do that. And then so it says right here. Obviously, you guys know the groups,
And
right?
so, will finals be one West, one East? Is that the finals, right?
I think so.
Because if you divide
So
them
it's
into
kind of like
groups of your
preseason
division,
or it's a mid-season championship.
mid-season championship, right? So, but
Yeah.
what do you get from it? Do you get anything? Do you get any special thing from winning the
Oh,
mid-season championship? Because I don't want to be that guy, but if you put us in like a mid, I'm like, cool, I fucking won a mid-season champ. What the fuck does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like, cool. Like, I won it.
okay.
Awesome.
So we'll talk about prizes first because I know you're really excited about that.
That's what I want to
The
know about.
NCAA tournament prize pool will be allocated to the players on teams with a participant in the knockout round. So that's how much money they'll get based off of
Okay.
that. At the conclusion, the in-season tournament will be named the most MVP player in an all-tournament team, and that will also give money. So basically, they're going to get incentivized. That's how they're being incentivized through money, cash offers, to be able to get it. Cool, I'm into it. I think that's fun.
I'm down.
And they're playing games every Tuesday and Friday from the 3rd to the 28th as a tournament game. So they kind of
Okay.
schedule those out, which is really dope. And this is kind of how things would be tiebreakers head to head in the group stage, point differential, total points, regular season record, and then random drawing. So that's how they're eventually, I think, I think that's how they broke tie record. I don't even fucking know how that
Yeah.
works.
So basically, if you tie, you're gonna like go to your points for, points again to different, like your difference in that, and then you're like, oh, that makes sense. But is this,
And
like
so
you said, is
it's
this just to incentivize players to play because you get more money if you make it to the in-season tournament? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I think it's kind of more fun and kind of because like it's just different. I mean, you have to pay attention through it in a different light. There's something to kind of watch through, not just the All Star game. You know what I'm saying? I think
It,
it's just
it, it
other
does
ways
make
to
it
maybe attract basketball people.
because I guess this is in December, and then uh the playoffs is in May, right? May, June. June is like the final, so I
And
guess
so right
eight
now, like
April,
only a
May.
few teams have played. So so right now in the East, you have the Pacers, Cavs, the Heat, the Bucks, the Knicks, the Wizards, the Bulls, and the Nets. Trailblazers. Oh, sorry, that's it. That's who's played on the what East. Then you have the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Mavs, the Golden State, and the Oklahoma City. And those are the only teams that played on the West.
Cool.
Which
I
I
mean,
think, if I'm not correct, if I'm, I think they beat, so Denver beat Dallas, and
okay.
Dallas is 6-2. They're gonna probably make it into that.
Yeah.
Their next game is against the Clippers. Both those teams. So
Okay.
like it's cool because you get all these things. So the first game the Lakers have to play is Phoenix.
Oh, okay. So I guess you're right. I guess it makes it more fun. It's doing exactly its job. It's having us talk about what the in-season tournament is,
What
and
it?
it's also having us say, you know what? Like I would, all right, cool. Like if we're talking about like a mid-season like tournament, you're what, probably 30 games in at this point. By the time the it comes to it, you're probably 30 games in, 25 games in, and then you hit the All-Star break, and then basketball. For me, basketball starts getting fun after the All-Star break because you start to like see the playoff picture, and that's a big talk of, okay, games matter now, right?
When I think of
Um,
the All Star game, dude, I didn't even realize the All Star game was going on last year. I
oh,
just
dude,
was like,
same.
wait, it's working.
Remember when we were
It's
like, what
on.
the fuck?
Which
um,
is just so funny, man. Like what? It's
yeah,
crazy.
NBA is one of those things where I think they're trying to get people to watch it again, which is cool. That's awesome. Um, and then
Yeah.
we have two reasons. I mean, I can hear you, bro. I don't know if you're talking to me, but I can hear you. But we have two reasons to watch the NBA right now, and that
What?
is Wembenyambe or Wemby, baby,
Wemby.
and Chet Holmgren. Is that how you say his last name?
Chet Holmgren. I haven't, dude. If you know how to say his name, I'm proud of you because
Chet.
I don't know
I'm
how to
just gonna
say
go
it.
with Chet. Two
Yeah.
rookies, absolutely playing out of their minds. Their teams aren't doing the best. I don't think Oklahoma State had, or I don't think Oklahoma City has the best record. But they have a record,
They do have a record.
and it's up there. But Wemby is absolutely kind of going crazy right now. What you looking for, my guy?
A pen, but it's all good. I got it. I
Oh,
figured it out.
okay, cool. Just making sure. Wemby's going
Sorry, I
crazy.
got distracted.
You distracted me there. Wemby is as a Spurs fan, a resident Spurs fan around here. Wemby, so happy to how can we get so lucky that we got David Robinson and Tim Duncan, and then the next time we get a first round pick, we get a generational talent like Wemby. Like,
He's looked really good, and I worried about his being fragileness, and he's
he
not really
looks
that.
so
But I don't
small.
think he puts himself in a position to be fragile, and he looks kind of
No,
cool.
he plays more of a point big man versus a like down low big man, which is what we're so used to. He plays more of that point.
I see him drain some threes, and it's just like, dude, he just could stand there and like shoot it
It,
over, and he
it's
probably
not
could.
even it's not even fair when you're like 7'1", I think he is, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna dunk the ball. Let me just put my hand up.
I saw him next to KD, and he made KD look short, and I
And
know
KD's
he's
6'10".
fucking tall, dude.
KD's
Yeah,
tall, 6'9", 6'10". Like he's tall. I mean, it's fun to see. I think basketball's trending in the right direction right now. They for a while there they were like they had the whole LeBron thing, or it was like they had the whole bubble. Like, but I think they're like trending in the right direction with let's see how Jimmy B can. I think everyone just wants to see Jimmy B win a ring.
I know,
I think
really.
everybody just wants to see it finally. Nobody wants to see LeBron unless you're a LeBron fan. Nobody wants to see him do good. Everyone, I think, is just holding out for him to play Bronny 1 year. You know what I mean? I feel
And
like
let him
that's just
go.
like, and then let him go. And then Wemby is finally having some fun. Antetokounmpo is fucking crazy as usual. Dame is doing his thing with him. Like, I think there was a huge move. It's one thing I do like about the NBA is they're not afraid to trade superstars.
Yeah,
They're not afraid to move them around, and superstars aren't afraid to move teams.
yeah.
Where in the NFL, you get a superstar who's like, I want to be a homegrown talent, or I want to stay with, and it's like cool when you have that player like TJ Watt. Like I would be pissed if he left, right? But when you have him, it's awesome. But then when you want somebody, it's like fuck, you have to draft them, or you have to pay this high market to get them.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I think is fun about the NBA. But I'm gonna propose a question to you because you know basketball more than I do. I will give my opinion on who I think is, but who is the best basketball player in the game today? Because you're obviously going to have the Antetokounmpos. You're going to have. I know you're probably going to say LeBron because it's hard not to go with LeBron. No, okay. It,
LeBron is
it
if it's a conversation who's the best to ever play basketball
no. This is a best as of
as of
November 8th,
today.
2023.
Yes. Dude, it's got to be Jokic.
You're
Nikola
not.
Jokic.
Yeah, you for being somebody. He reminds me of like a Kyler Murray in a certain way of like he's like, do you watch film? Why would I do that? But he's somebody who's like that good and that talented that
Yeah.
he probably can get away with it.
And he's a freak. He's so big. He's fluid. He moves good. He moves nice.
You
And
can't
I think
be
like
that big and move like that.
no.
That's not fair.
And he shoots threes. Like he shoots threes. He shoots some like he's a beast. And he's like, and the Nuggets are still just as good.
It's not
I
fair.
mean, it's hard not to say. And I think a really close second is another foreign player, and that's Luca. Like what Luca does on the court is things like you haven't seen before. It's just
He's
insane.
a big
So
point guard.
he's huge, bro. He's thick too. You see his neck.
Yeah.
He's gonna move to shooting guard to power forward soon, probably. Gonna keep growing in size.
Bro, he's
But
huge.
his handles are off the chart. He shoots the ball from anywhere and everywhere. They're just two different players, right? And I think when you're Jokic size and you're doing the things that technically Luca does, bro, and you're that big, that's hard not to say that you're the best player in the league. If
Because
Joel Embiid would
go
have
ahead.
been more fluid and a little bit more like versatile from a shooting standpoint, he could be technically the best because he's huge. And that's what basketball is all about: height, size, and some points. It can be the small guys game, but really, if you're thinking about if you can get a center that does everything, that's a level up, and that's what
So
you guys did.
yeah, but what do you think? Well, what do you think the matchup of Wemby versus Jokic would be like? What do you think that would be like? Because would you even put Wemby on Jokic just because of how big he is? Yeah, I don't know if you would do that, right? Like you would make your power forward play in because I understand that Wemby plays center, but he's not going to play the big boy centers. Like
That
he's
will be a
not going to.
very interesting matchup. I don't know if has it happened yet. I'd be curious, but
I don't
if it
think so.
Because that would be such a unique game to watch because of that exact same thing. Like, what would they do with him? Where would they put him? How would they put him? Uh, let's just look it up and see when they're playing him
I'm
because
gonna
that,
I'm gonna add a question here. Is
yeah.
it does it shock you that literally when I'm thinking right now, just in my head, I'm like, okay, who are the big stars of the NBA? Okay, right now, I think Wemby because he's right in front of my head because he's just like the new kid on the block. You think Luca, you think Jokic, you think Antetokounmpo. All those people are not from America. Has America lost its touch on basketball? Not like that, but it hasn't lost its star talent of people that aren't in the NBA because these top like five people that I just named that I would say like are probably in the top five conversation. Wemby, I'd take him out of it just because he's a rookie. You don't know what he's going to get you, but the way he's been playing is kind of nasty. So it's wild to think like has the USA lost its reign on basketball
Yes and no.
versus the I would say over the world, not a certain country because I would say USA has per country probably the best definitely
Yeah.
the best basketball. But per if you did world versus USA,
Kind of a little bit, right? Like I think that's one of the coolest things about the NBA is it's present internationally because the football doesn't have that. You don't have a non-American quarterback coming in there and just wiping the shit out of people, but you have people like Jokic and Luca that are coming in here and are putting a mess to people. Giannis, like it's just more competitive. It is a whole level of difference because you still get players like Jason Tatum, Jalen
true,
Brown, Jimmy
true,
B, Bam
true.
Amadeo is technically American. Um, like
Because you have, I mean, I even think about, but Joel is
Kyrie,
world. Kyrie, I mean, you have LeBron, but LeBron's LeBron. Like, I understand you
Kevin
still
Durant,
have these like,
Devin Booker.
I understand you still have these like top talent players, but those, not that they're
They're
old talent,
superstars.
but they're old talent, right? You just named okay, Jason Tatum's not old. He's gonna be
If
the
we
next
name young
young.
people, the people who are going to competing with them,
Yeah,
it is Jason Tatum, it's a Jalen Brown, it's a Devin Booker, it's a Darren Fox, it is I'm literally trying to go through people right now and think
because
about
is Sabonis from America? He might be from America because I think his dad's
the
from
bonus. Yeah,
over.
his dad's from Serbia, but he's from here.
He's technically from America, but
But I think he could play on the
um
Siberian team. I think he
because
does.
he might have double dual citizenship. But like yeah, like Sabonis is crazy and he's over there. Like uh, you have like these young talent who's fun, who's like coming over and
Anthony
making a name.
Edwards,
Is he from? He's from
America.
Canada, huh? Oh,
Anthony Edwards.
America, America.
Anthony Edwards isn't. He's from America. Yeah.
Okay,
But
but yeah, it's crazy. It's
you're
crazy to think.
100% right because like the players that you're naming, they're superstars. The name players I just named, some are, some aren't.
Yeah, like when you think of like I like you said like these talents that could change your organization tomorrow. Every one of the like international people that I named is like okay. If you gave me Joel Embiid tomorrow, that is a definite talent changer.
It just comes
I
down to
understand.
numbers of like compared to like how many of the players in the NBA are USA based, how many players are
Yeah,
internationally based. But like, and that's the difference, right? Because how many players are from like Greece?
one, two, him and his brother.
How many people are from France? France has a little bit more, right? France has Rudy Gobert, they have
True,
Wemby, they have a couple other
true. They had
technically.
Tony Parker. They had Boris Diaw. They had like really, really good players.
Yeah, so I mean, you get this those the kind of mix of it, but I definitely think they haven't lost their step. I just don't think the most dominant player right now is USA born, and that's what's just going to be kind of a shocker and different, because it's normally not been like that. It's always
Because
been an American-led player for the NBA.
yeah, I would say the to start like this like role of like these top tier talents coming out in this generation was like Christian Porzingis, and
Yeah,
he's been kind of popping off for
he's
Boston.
so much better. He is vintage Knicks
Yeah,
Porzingis.
he is
That is, he looks okay. First off, what he looked when he got drafted and what he looks like now is a whole different man.
way
He has a
different.
beard. He's who is this
Yeah,
guy? But
he's
he's
big.
playing great. I've been super impressed because I didn't know like really how well he would be because like when they drafted, I think they traded for him or they signed him, whatever it was. I was
They
like,
signed
really?
him. They signed him, and then they traded Robert Williams away. Who Robert Williams was like their number one guy, and then they traded him away, which was weird. But then Porzingis has been fucking like you said, vintage Porzingis, New York Knicks Porzingis, where he was fucking up everybody.
And they have, but the thing I like about it too is they have Drew Holiday that they got from the
Mhm.
trades that were around too, and
Jalen
dude,
Brown,
Brown, you
uh,
got fucking Tatum. They got a
Tatum.
team, so it's kind of crazy to think how good this
They
team is.
they've got to be one of the best teams in the East. But would you agree or would you not agree that the Knicks are the best team in the West or the scariest team in the West?
You mean the Nuggets?
The Nuggets, not the Nuggets. We just talk about the Knicks, the Nuggets.
The Nuggets? Yeah, the Nuggets are definitely the best team. Yeah, 100%. Like,
Okay,
I,
I mean, yeah, like you said, how can you say anything against them when you have a Jokic, when you have a Morant? I
reigning
understand.
champion.
Yeah, they're reigning champions, and you still look fucking good.
Yeah, and he's still
Uh,
good. And
um,
they lose Jamal Murray for a month, but I think he'll be back. But either way, yeah,
that
dude.
kid is so injury prone. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I guess I think I asked this question. I'm gonna ask you more of this question because you're
Yeah,
in Tennessee anyways. Does the boost can John Morant come back and give a boost to this Memphis team who looks like shit?
John Morant. I mean, yes, okay, of course he's going to. Is he back? I don't even know what's going on with that. When does he
No,
come
he's
back?
for like half the season, remember?
Okay, cool. Well, obviously he's going to give a boost because when you get a talent like the talent player of Morant outside of what he does off the court, the talent player of Morant is insane. Ja is kind of like a freak as a point guard. He's so small but able to do so many crazy things. But does it boost your locker room? I don't know. Does it boost your team? I just don't know what that is. And is that going to benefit their team? I know they traded for Marcus Smart, and I know that they have him on the team. So I don't know if he's doing great, but I hope that what I thought, what I was thinking about the trade for Marcus Smart was more of a, hey, veteran, teach our rookie. He's not really a rookie, but our third year player how to fucking be a professional. Because Marcus Smart is nothing but a professional, right?
Yeah.
Like he has shown nothing in his career but being a professional. Coming out of OK State, he has shown nothing but like being professional. So, hey, teach our third year franchise player to be a fucking vet. Like teach him good. So I think that was more of the Marcus Smart signing. Yeah, Marcus Smart's good, and he's going to be an above average point guard. He's not great, but he's going to, I think, can give you that comparatively to the, oh, I'm going to be this crazy scoring deep offensive player for you. That's why you have Morant.
Yeah.
He more is the defensive side, but hopefully there's more of that. Let's help Morant get fucking veteran and get ready to take over this franchise. Because if you're not, we got to get rid of him quick and get him for something.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, last question on the NBA. Why is the East so boring? Why is it every year we know what two, three teams are going to come out of the East and we know who's going to, it's like last year, I think it was like a 16 game gap or something like that between the third team and the fourth team. It was just like, okay, cool. Like, awesome.
Yeah, right. Like how fun is this to watch? How cool is that? I
Yeah,
don't
it's the Bucks, it's the 76ers, and it's who's the other team?
so
Miami's never that
Bucks,
high.
76ers. Miami's
They always
always
make
decent.
it they always make it in like the six or seven, but there's one more like East team, and I can't picture their face. I don't remember who's on the East. Let's see. Who the fuck is in the East? Who is in the East? Yeah, because you always have the fucking um you always have the Bucks
I
who
say the
are
Celtics, the 76ers, and I
thank
put
you.
the
Thank you. The Celtics. Celtics, 76ers, and Bucks. Yes, the Heat always do good, but they're always one for some reason they do good in the playoffs, but they're that bubble team. They're gonna get in at the seventh, sixth spot.
Yeah.
But
It's
thank you for
always
the
been so
Celtics.
deep.
Yeah, the Celtics, the Bucks, and the 76ers are literally always gonna be one, two, and three, whatever order it's usually Celtics, Bucks fighting for one and two, and then the 76ers coming in behind for three. Getting rid of James Harden seemed to do the 76ers well. he was probably a cancer to that team, which he has been to every other team he's been to. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of boring to watch. I don't know about you, but it's no
I
fun.
think the West at some point just got so popular. Like the East has always had some good teams and some dominant
Hmm.
teams, but like I don't know, man. I know growing up, the West was the best. Like getting out West, that's everybody's doing, right? Everybody's trying to get to the West side, getting to
Always.
the and that's such and it's competitive out there in the West. Like it's gonna
Oh
play
yeah.
good teams, and a lot of teams were good in it. Like you've always had the Spurs, who've been consistently good. You had the
Always.
Lakers for years that were good. The Suns got good for some time.
You had the
It always
Mavericks for
just
those 5 years that were just
OKC.
crazy with Dirk.
You just get more teams that have better stuff, and you get teams like the Thunder. Man, the Thunder are such a fun team to watch because they draft so fucking well, and they have the
They do.
youngest, and they just keep doing it. A couple years later, they're back in the mix. Okay, a couple years later, they're back in the mix. It's just, it's. I think it's coaching, it's players, it's where they want to be, it's the competitive teams. Like even Minnesota is technically a good team in the West. So why I don't know. Maybe it's just the fame and the hype that comes with being in the West.
West.
The East still has like classic teams like the Bulls and the Celtics, and
They have like the iconic teams like the Celtics, the Bulls. Like you
besides
said,
the
the Celtics, but
Lakers,
they just
like the
yeah,
Lakers are like
Lakers.
iconic, but like in the
Lakers
West,
are definitely iconic, but like you said, they're all newer teams. They're not gonna find this like long historic history of like we love this team since my fucking great great grandfather.
yeah,
You've got that in the East, right? You got that in the East with like the 76ers, like literally the two teams, 76ers, the Bulls and then the Celtics. Like these just long teams that you just heard so much about.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, Alex, I'm good at the NBA. That was fun, dude.
Yeah, that was
I'm
fun.
so excited. I love basketball.
I can get into basketball. And I am trying to more and more this year to get into basketball. One sport that I've gotten into, literally, the only reason is because I had 8 weeks off and I got to watch College Game Day every single Saturday morning. That's the NCAA football, baby. The college football world. Crazy. Talk about Ohio State being number one. Wild. Do you know that? Ohio State is number one.
And we talked about it last week,
Qu-
but that's just for
Oh,
playoff. That's not right. That's like
uh,
playoff ranking. We're number one, or just in
they
general
if
number
the
one.
playoffs, well, it's in general, like if the playoffs started right now, they would be the number one ranked team in the nation.
I don't even understand that.
That's what they would be. They beat a team. I can't so they beat Notre Dame, which when Notre Dame would play them, they were like 10. And then they beat another team that put them above Georgia. Because Georgia has been playing good teams, but they haven't been beating teams very well. Like they played South Carolina, and South Carolina almost beat them. Like it was a pretty close game, which it should not have been.
Which
The one team.
I was saying why because we beat two top AP teams.
No, 100%.
We're they're 2-0 against them. We're like who was this? Where's Georgia? Let me find Georgia real
Georgia
quick.
hasn't played anyone super, super big. They played some top 25 teams, but they haven't played
They're two ahead of.
anybody super big. Yeah, against top 25 teams. I'm talking
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Michigan has beat, but like Georgia beat teams that were in the top 25 that no longer are in the top 25. Ohio State beat, I can't remember who was the second team they beat. The
Who?
Old Miss, right? Did they beat Old Miss? No,
Who?
that was Alabama. And that
Ohio
was
State beat Notre Dame.
yes. And who was the other one? Who
Penn
else did they
State.
play? Who? Penn
Penn
State,
State.
yeah. So they beat two teams. Oh, I mean, Notre Dame's ranked 20 now. Penn State's ranked 10. Um, Georgia beat South Carolina and Tennessee, maybe? No, they haven't played Tennessee yet. Um, did they play Tennessee?
The only other team that's really good. Oh, sorry, hold on. I don't know who they played. Who are you talking
Oh,
about?
I don't know.
Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia, but they're not. But they haven't played anybody super, super good, and they haven't played them. They haven't played bad teams well. The only team
Georgia only beat Kentucky and Missouri
Kentucky. Thank you, Kentucky. Kentucky. Oh, they beat Missouri at 14.
last week,
They just
barely.
beat them last week, barely. And then they beat Kentucky, who's not even ranked anymore.
And
But
now
the
they're
team
playing
that
number
I'm,
9, Ole Miss, and then they play number
yeah,
13, Tennessee.
Yep. So Ole Miss just lost to Alabama. Pretty good game though. And then what I'm excited for, the team that I want to see in the playoffs is Penix Jr. in Washington. Dude,
They look fun.
they went to USC and fucking beat down this USC Trojans team that has this quarterback that's supposed to go number one overall. And I think he's still a really good quarterback. That's not the problem. Their defense is absolutely fucking trash. But
Okay.
their defense is pretty fucking bad. But Washington's team is so damn good. Talk about a, a conference. I understand that they're now the Pac-2 and they're breaking up, but we lived in the glory age of this Pac-12 that was so fucking good for so long.
Yeah.
Washington, Oregon, ASU was good for a minute there. Arizona was good for a minute there. USC, UCLA, like they had some good damn teams that they were always ranked high, and then throughout the season they beat the fuck out of each other. Like
Yeah.
Washington. Washington one year was ranked 10 and lost to an Arizona State, but it was just because they played each other for so long and they beat each other up. Um,
Yep.
and it looks like Washington might actually get away this year without losing a game. They're looking pretty freaking good. Like
They played their
they're
toughest game.
looking yeah, they played their tough no, they have two tough games coming up. So they played USC who was at 20, okay? And then now they played Oregon, I guess you're right. Maybe they played Oregon in their toughest game. You're correct. They barely beat an Oregon team at their toughest game. They beat USC at 20. They play Utah next week at 18. They play Oregon State at 12. And then they play Washington State. I know Washington's not ranked right now, but they're a good team. That's a good team right there, Washington State.
If they're 1-5 or 4-5 overall. I mean, they're not horrible,
Who?
but like if I don't, this is what I don't understand. If Washington wins these games and wins out, if they're not better technically than Michigan on the ranking, I would be shocked because
Well, hold on.
listen. Can
You
I
got
get
to
my reason?
remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my reason why I'm saying that is because you talk about they beat a number 8, a number 20, a number 12, and a number 18. So they beat 4 top AP teams.
8,
You know who
12,
Michigan
20,
plays this
18,
year?
20. They
You know
play.
the
Let me see.
top
I'm
teams
looking
that
at
they
it now.
play? Guess how many games they play that are top 10 teams, top
Oh,
20 teams, 25 teams?
I guess I just looked it up too.
Two.
And they're
They
just
play,
about to play them.
yep, Penn State this week and Ohio State the last week. So you're better play. They played some tough teams to have to get there to win 4. They won 4 AP ranked games in Michigan
I
close.
just,
And I
I
love
don't
Christopher
know.
Peter because this would be a good topic to discuss with him.
I don't know if the NCAA football will put a Pac-12, a Pac-2 team in the lead though,
Technically,
because
they're Big Ten. They're
te-
Pac-12, but they're gonna be Big
they're
Ten.
ba-
Why would you
they're
not
Pac
want to see them in there?
they're Pac-2 right now, and I get it. But
It,
you got to be careful because Georgia coming up, they played a South Carolina team who wasn't ranked. They just beat a Missouri team who was 12. They played an Old Miss team and then a Tennessee team. They played a Florida team who was ranked at the beginning of the season, and they play a Kentucky team. So I would say Georgia would probably be number one if everybody wins out by the end of the year. Georgia should go to number one because they have the hardest schedule. I can see a debate for Michigan being three and Washington being two, because if you look at Florida State, sure they started off banging against LSU, and then they played Duke, and that's it. Like they haven't beat teams by a lot. They are a team that like has scaped by some games, right? Like that
yeah,
Boston College game, they should not have won. That was a close game. But then they play Miami, North Alabama. Who the fuck is that? Why are you playing a North Alabama team this late in the season? And then a Florida, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I can see your argument where if you I can even see your argument for one. If you go in, beat Utah, you go in, beat Oregon State,
Well,
and then you
Michigan's got to
close it out,
lose.
huh?
Michigan's got to lose to Ohio State. If they don't lose to Ohio State, if they beat Ohio State, it causes a ton of controversy. But if they
See that
lose to Ohio State, it is
the
for
thing,
sure.
but the thing is, even if every single team wins out, I could still see Georgia being one. Oh, this is where I get tired. I could see Ohio State being one. I could see Georgia being 2. I could see Washington being 3, and then Michigan being 4. Well, no, because if Michigan loses, they'll drop out of top
And this
5.
is the last year
Uh,
they're only doing the top four. So
oh,
next
is
year
the
they'll do
last
the
year?
yeah, because it says right
This
here,
is
college
why
football
I'm
expanded
saying
12 teams in 2024. Because this would make it competitive. When you put these teams in like a elimination, single elimination, you got to go for it, dude. Like it creates some
because
cool games.
like think about this. Think about this. A Louisville team who kind of has been shocking everybody could go in and shock a number 2 team like Georgia, right? They don't play each other. They could go in and shock them. Like I would love to see a I can't wait to see it. It's a 12 team playoff or 16?
12.
12 team playoff. I can't wait to
That's
see
still
that.
a
It's gonna
lot.
be fun.
That's gonna be a
I'm
fun.
excited.
Yeah.
Finally, God, this is what it should have been. The 4 team playoff kind of sucked because for how long has it been fucking Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, and a fucking other team?
Oregon, Ohio State.
It's been a random other team, right? Or it's like Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. It's like cool. That's fucking awesome. Because what before the last 2 years, Ohio State has been getting Michigan, so it was Georgia, Alabama, and then well, I guess Clemson was in there for a while, but it was like Clemson, right?
So I would say the most consistent teams in the playoffs since the birth of it in 2014,
Alabama.
Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. And then I think right there for fourth, you kind of flirt with Michigan, Georgia, because Michigan wasn't good at the start of 2014,
Mm-mm,
and Georgia wasn't who they were at that point. But in the
mm-mm.
recent
But for
years, you
the
get a lot of that
yeah,
Georgia, you get a lot of the Michigan,
for the
you get
past
that TCU random, right?
yeah,
But
the
Oregon for the long time was always in there, but in the like 3 years, they haven't been the same.
Oregon with that nat they were in competition 1 year for the Natty champion, right? With Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
I love college football, and you know what a shocker. The last shocker we'll talk about in college football is I cannot believe U of A beat UCLA and is now a top 25 team. Like they
Oh,
have
they were
been
top 25.
scratching their way. Yeah, they made they're 21 because UCLA was 23 when they played them. Um, and so like they've been scratching their way in, bro. Like they have been literally like they've
I
been
don't can't
playing
believe U of A
teams
is 21.
so yeah, they've been playing teams so well. They beat a so they lost by 2 points to a number 9 USC. They lost by a touchdown to a number 7 Washington or number 5 now. They beat Washington State at 19. They beat Oregon State at 11. They beat UCLA at 19. If they beat Colorado, whose Colorado has not been doing good since the hype of the first 3 games,
Yeah.
then you go and if you beat Utah, and then you have Arizona State with there's no way ASU's winning the tournament cup this year. Sorry, ASU.
Yeah, sorry.
Um, but they're just not winning it this year. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see where teams sit at the end
Yeah,
of the year
technically U of A would play, or no, I think it would be an Oregon Washington Pac-12 game, but I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know how that works,
they'll do a Pac-12 game, so it'll be East.
but I don't know if it'll be Huskies or Ducks, or it'll be Wildcats and Ducks. All right, because I don't know what they'll do with UW. If UW makes the college
I
football, do
just
they still
fuck
play
it,
off?
fuck it. I hope that they do fucking
I think they
Oregon
still have to play
Washington.
that, don't they?
They still have to play. They
So
still
they
have
have
to
to play the
play their
Pac-12 championship in order to go to
because
the
you know how
playoffs.
many years the Big Ten championship has decided who if it was Ohio State or the game before the Big Ten championship, like the Michigan.
Yeah.
Do they play? Does that's right because it's like if Tennessee Georgia when they played, it was like who's gonna win the SEC? They're gonna go to the playoffs.
Well, because one of them for a
Um,
while too is like they're like the different divisions. They have East and West or
yeah,
this and that's where Pac-12 doesn't have it. So
that's right. So it's just Washington, Oregon. That'd be crazy. A round 2 of that would be insane, dude.
right. Oh my God, I don't know.
Well, while he's finding that out, I want to publicly take my team on a fucking trip this week and beat their ass because how do you score? I think I average like 112, 115 points a week
Mhm.
to then score 98 in the biggest game of the season, you absolute asinine of a team, get it together. And if we don't get it together, we're gonna fucking lose that. Like the fact that I'm 2 losses deep and I had a chance to literally overtake you in the number 1 spot.
Yeah, you had a chance. You could have done it because your points are insane.
Points are fucking
Sorry, I was
insane.
looking up all this stuff, and I really would love
Cool.
to talk about it. And so, really, the Pac-12
Cool.
does have a North and South division, right?
Okay.
I want to know who is in that.
Because
Real quick.
the North right now would be Washington, and the South would be U of A because U of A just beat
Actually,
USC.
yeah,
Well, actually, U of A. Well, U
yeah.
of A
Okay,
has
the
not beat
North is
USC.
Stanford. It was Stanford, Washington, Oregon, Washington State, Oregon State, and Cal. And then the South was
Okay.
USC, UCLA, Utah, Colorado, Arizona State, and Arizona. Well, did Arizona lose to USC? But USC
Yes.
has 3 games lost, so they would technically. But that's where it gets crazy within college football because if you're looking at the Pac-12 specifically, technically USC is 0-3 in AP teams. They are a total of 7-3. The Wildcats are 6-3, so that's pretty competitive. But they're 3-2 in APs. But they did lose that head-to-head to USC, so it
And
could be a USC
but
Huskies.
if USC doesn't get another win, and because if Arizona State, if U of A wins out, they play Utah. It's a hard game. That's a top 25 team. That's a big win.
Yeah,
And
the
Utah
Wildcats
smacked the
got some tough
fuck out of
games.
USC.
Because the Wildcats have beat some good teams, bro. I mean, they
Yeah.
lost. Technically, they're 3-2 in AP teams. Hold on, first off, Pac-12 is disbanding, and this team in the Pac-12
Tattoo.
has 3-2, excuse me, against AP teams that all have been in the Pac-12. Washington, USC, Washington State, who was 19, Oregon, who was 11, and then they play Colorado, Utah, and then Arizona State. They can win out, and
Like,
let's look at
let's start.
USC.
I understand USC is not in the top 25 anymore. They were forever.
Yeah,
Washington State not in top 25 anymore, but they were. Oregon State is still top 25, and UCLA I think just dropped out of top 25.
if U of A, excuse me, can beat
Utah.
Utah, they'll make it. I think Oregon is going to beat USC, who plays this Saturday, the 11th.
Oh,
That
Oregon's gonna smack the
I
fuck out
hope.
of USC,
And then
bro.
they play UCLA, who was just a ranked team and hasn't been playing well. USC
Yeah,
could lose one of these games and
lose
Arizona
out.
pumps up, right? But okay, brother, a
Yeah,
week ago, like 2 weeks ago, actually, I think the last time you're on the podcast, we were talking about because it's been so fun. This league of ours, for me and you, has been a great time. In order for
fun
Chris,
time.
horrible time, horrible time. But dude, uh, 9-0, I'm undefeated. How? We don't know.
Uh,
Doesn't make
no
sense.
idea.
You said a couple weeks ago, you said, "How are you this good?" And I told you just consistency. My players
No, it's
are
true.
like 14, 13, 12. If I get enough of those, that puts me over the edge. And this week, you got to put your money where your mouth was. And you were projected to beat me pretty good, I thought. And I was a little nervous, man. I really was. I was like, dude, I don't want, if I'm going to lose, I
Could
don't
be.
want to lose to Alex right now. I want to beat him because I love to remain undefeated. And I really
I
just
get
kind of
it.
I took myself out of it because I
I
was
get it.
nervous. And I
I get
squeaked
it.
out a 106-98 win. I'm pretty sure this is the worst performance you've had
By
this.
all.
So
I haven't scored under 100 points, bro.
it's
Like
insane.
so my one loss that I should not have lost, I lost to TJ 117 to 116. Okay.
I
Fucking
remember that
rough.
game.
1 point game. And then this game, I'm gonna be honest, Justin. Listen, your team, all props to you. You're 9-0, fucking somehow. Should not have lost this week. Like I should not have lost. Like shouldn't have lost this week.
Dude, every
I,
so
I will say, I
the
will
lowest
say
time
this.
you scored was 101 and you beat your wife the first week of the
Yeah,
first season. Every other game, like you 161, 150, 185, 139, 125, 148, and you went and shit the bed in a week that really mattered and
90
got
and 98.
98.
So the one thing I will say, I this doesn't make an excuse because I think
Sean.
even no, I benched Bajan on purpose. He gave me, I think, 4 more points than Alvin Kamara. Nothing crazy. the one saving grace for me in this league has been my tight end has fucking popped off every week in Sam Laporta. He's just been going fucking crazy. And
No
I didn't
problem.
have him this week. And I think that was my bad luck omen for not beating you was my luck charm of Sam Laporta ran out because he's on a bye. Um and I know I haven't traded and I don't think I'm going to trade because I can't pick which running back I like right now. But
Yeah.
it's like because I Mostert's on a bye. Well, it's like, what do I do when Mostert's on a bye? I'm just gonna put Bijan Robinson in, who's on my bench.
Yeah.
But it's man, it sucks that I lost, but I still think that I still think I'll finish number two in the league. I don't think my team is too good to not make the playoffs, and I can't wait to see you in the tournament. I can't wait to see you. Are you really? Did you really clinch playoff already? That's insane, bro.
It is insane. It has a little asterisk right next to and that clinched playoffs. Dude, I have four players that had less than 4 points, but really, I got to give it to Vegas. I'm glad I put them in over the Giants. 18 points. Amari Cooper went off for 24. Dak had a great game at 27. Madison, who I was kind of hesitant to put in, had 16. The worst part is I could have murdered you because I left that Dalton Schultz on my
Hmm.
bench, who you never let Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey, you got to put in, week out. It just happens.
It's
He had
hard.
four Tank Dell 30 points on my bench, and I should put him over Downs, and that was my biggest question because Downs was injured going into it, but he's had a really couple good games, and I was like, yo, fuck it, I'm willing to risk it because if I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose. Because ultimately, I knew you could and have the potential to score a shit ton of points. But you were right. You had some players out that really kind of hurt you, and you made maybe just
And
not the best decisions
like I
and
said,
more over Pittman.
yeah, that was the one. And then DJ Moore, but DJ Moore has been doing so good for me that it was hard not to. It's almost like he's just been doing good. One thing I will say, he's not here. Good game. You deserve the win. You beat me fair and square, straight up. There's no because like I said, even if Sam Laporta was in and you made your starting lineup the way it should have been, I would have absolutely got annihilated. Okay, I'll put that out there. I would have got absolutely annihilated. So it's not like Sam Laporta not playing. I think he's just my good luck charm. I think that's
Yeah.
what it is he plays really well for me. And I think he makes everybody else on the team play well, even though they don't play together. The one thing that we can relish in though is how in the fuck is Christopher Rutledge still in last place in this league
I don't
after
understand.
making an asinine trade?
Oh, asinine. He's still in last place. How?
He's still in last place. Like and he has no chance. He got absolutely destroyed last week, 133 to 74. He has no chance this week. Isaiah Pacheco, Patrick Mahomes are out. He has Joey Burrow on the bench and he traded for Patrick Mahomes. What is this man doing?
He was impatient. That's if I could think of Chris in a form, that was impatience right there. He knows who Joey B is. He knew what he was getting himself into when he drafted him. And the fact that he didn't is his problem because he could be better, but he waited too long. And the games that he lost some close ones, but then he had some games where he just wasn't getting shit. And I think he just like the last week he would have lost. It could have looked a lot better if he put Joey B in. Joey B had 21 points compared to Patrick Mahomes 15, but he had no one else playing on his bench. Like he had 0, 0, 0. He just doesn't have a depth team. Tyler Higbee had 0. He has nobody on his squad, and that's just I
Yep.
think bad drafting.
Bad drafting. I'm
Um,
hoping to stay. I'm hoping to stay um number two. Because
I could still lose, dude. I mean, I know it's
um
hard to think because it's been like
what the reason I say you're not gonna lose, not that you're not gonna lose. You might drop a game here, you might drop a game there, but like the like a world where you go, I think we only have, let's see, we have
we have
one,
one,
two, three, four, five, 6 weeks left. To think that I'm not gonna drop another game would be like kind of rough. But to think that you aren't going to drop you were going to drop 3 games in the
yeah.
next 6, that's where it's like, I don't know. Your team has been
And
playing too good You're playing Eric next week or the week after, right? So
I
you're
play so
playing.
I played all the competitive teams. The only other team I'm worried about in this is actually Eric. And the only reason why I'm concerned with Eric is Eric actually has a high point four. He does score a lot of points with this team. He just can't beat. But like I could play Yo Mama Squeak with his Sydney, and then I play Eric, then I play Chris. Chris sucks. Biting your kneecaps would be a tough one. McJam kind of worries me, but doesn't. And then I play Rose's team. And unless CJ Stroud is popping off on that game, I could finish out undefeated. It is super
That's what I'm
possible.
saying. Like it's super possible.
Wouldn't this be insane? Like I know it's me and I feel like a little lucky for it, but this is insane that I'm sitting here in week 9 and I'm undefeated.
I mean, honestly, okay, but don't sleep. The one team I will say don't sleep on is Rosie's team. She
No,
has CJ Stroud, she has DeAndre Swift, she has Stephon Diggs, she has Jake Ferguson, she has Joe Mixon. If Calvin Ridley could fucking play football, he would be there. Um, her team's not bad. Her team is actually not that bad. She's just had some unlucky breaks with a person named Aaron Jones who flirts with playing and then doesn't play, and then flirts with playing and then doesn't play 2 weeks in a row for her. And so that's rough on her part.
yeah.
Fucking, and you know what would be in fucking true fashion of fantasy football is you go whatever and one, and the one team to beat you is fucking Chris Rutledge, and then now we have to listen to him all fucking season go, oh well, I may have both finished last, but I beat you, Justin, and then that it would just be that, you know what I mean?
Well, the thing about it, like looking at my schedule, the teams that play me can't get it together. It's the weeks that
Yeah.
they play me where they're not like I've had one team score over 100 points against me, and that was McJam, and I beat him 123 to 112.
See
Cypress
that.
was 122 to 93. Like she was like I just you were the closest at 106 to 98. That's my and then team cutthroat. I beat him 95 to 75. But okay,
Just
you want to
keep
hear something
you just keep
crazy?
finding teams that are playing their worst, which is good, which is like perfect for fantasy.
Do you want to hear something crazier though?
Yeah.
I'm in 4 leagues.
Okay.
And how many of those leagues am I number one in?
Two, three. Are you number one? Are you just not number one in Yahoo? Is that the only
Yep.
one that you're not number one in?
Yep. And I sit at number 3 in the Yahoo League.
Nice, bro.
Dude,
I mean,
my worst team is 6-3.
it's pretty good. In the Yahoo League, it's pretty good. This,
I'm
you
six and
know,
three in 2 leagues. And I'm 7-2 in another.
I'm
And then
I'm
I'm
kind of
undefeated.
I'm kind of scared because last year, fantasy wise, you did okay. Not your best fantasy year, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Last year I think I went
I'm just talking overall your fantasy leagues, overall of them.
overall I was okay. I was decent. I did really good in our league, but I did good towards the like end. You're right. Like I did good, but I
Yeah.
wasn't the best.
You know what I'm nervous for is I did pretty good last year in all my leagues. Like I made the playoffs in every league.
I
This
was
year
11
I'm
and
doing
4.
in this league.
Yeah. And last year I was 11-4. I was still number one last year.
What was I last year?
Well, actually,
Did it say?
hold on. I don't know what I was because this is what's confusing. I don't think I was number one. I actually think Eric was number one because he was
Eric
13
was
and
number
2.
one.
I was 11-4, and you were 6-9. You
Nice.
had a great year, and Sipes was 10-5. So with Eric, me, and Cypress,
Nice.
and there I ended up beating
6-9.
Shit who was 7-8 in the finals. But I think he beat Eric in the playoffs to kind of get
Mhm.
us in.
I'm just looking forward to. I'm hoping that it's me and you in the finals. That's what I hope.
That'd be so fun.
I hope it's me and that we get a rematch of what our team should be, and it'll be like 100% strength, and it's like it'll be fun to like set the matchup. I hope that's what it comes down to. Um, we got
Oh
to
yeah.
get there though. We got a long season ahead of us because we could both lose. We could both lose out. I could lose out and miss the playoffs. Wow, it would be tough for me to miss the playoffs at this point. If I get
Yeah.
one, maybe two more wins, I probably will make the playoffs. It might not be like a number one seed, but I'll probably make the playoffs. And you made the playoffs, so we're both most likely going to be in the playoffs. So that'd be
You
fun.
will if you I don't think there's a way you miss
Like
the
I said,
playoffs.
I need one, maybe two more wins, and
I'll
I'm
have
in the playoffs.
I mean this in the best way too is beating you is it's a great win because you are a tough team. You have great players. I caught you on a bad bye week, and
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yep.
Thank God. And
It,
I
it
need,
was
but
it
that
was the it was the perfect week to catch me on. Um, it
but it
was
was
the
perfect.
perfect it was the perfect week to catch me on because I misstepped on a couple players. But like I said, I still think in the perfect world, if we play our perfect teams, I lose that game by a lot. It's not like I this week I didn't like it's like this was the week that you needed to play me because it was horrible for me.
Because
But
every other week, I mean, I'm looking at our schedule for the year we've been. Last week, let me see. You would have beat me. The week before, you would have beat me.
yeah,
Week 6, you would have beat me. I'm looking, hold on, 117. You had
I mean,
139. You would have beat me every other week.
except for maybe week one, I had a pretty low scoring game week one. But like if we played each other head to head, I would still have a 7-2 record, and you would have a 2-7 record. Maybe three, maybe
Because there's
six
like
and
I
three.
would have
Like
beat you. So we beat you week 1 and week 2. In week 3, I'm looking. I'm
okay,
trying to
so
find your team. Hold on.
six
In
and
week 3,
three,
you lost week 3, didn't you? Yeah. Oh no, you
1-7.
dominated. So we're 2-1, right? So you have one
Yeah,
win. I have 2 wins. This next week,
and
I
then I
think.
think I beat you every other week besides this week. I think I beat you the rest of the time besides this week.
Yeah, because then you win.
And then
Then
I
you
think like
win.
yeah,
Yeah.
my team kind of popped off like the
Yeah.
last 6 weeks. But like I
It's because you're
think I
both
beat
forward
you.
players, bro. You're
Yeah,
fucking Jonathan Taylor and you're
yeah,
Alvin
fucking Alvin
Kamara
Kumar.
coming in clutch. That risk you took.
Yeah, that risk I took. It was a good risk, but I
Dude, you
think
only
it's gonna
took
be
2 games. You took 2 L's. That's it.
yeah, I know. And I should and thinking about it, I shouldn't have taken an L against TJ. That was a fucking rough L. That one was worse than the loss against you because the loss against you, it's like fuck, my team didn't show up. It's when your team shows up and you lose by one fucking point. God
Yeah.
damn it.
And that's
God
like,
damn it.
dude, I had one of those last year with Sydney, and it pissed me off, and I lost the tiebreaker. So I should have been 12-3. But that's the part, like that's the hard part. It was like, dude, it's the way
Fantasy.
the cookie crumbles.
And like I said, I can't wait to meet you in the finals because it hopefully it'll be us. Other than that, bro, you got anything else for this? You got anything else for this podcast?
For this, man. I
No?
I miss our boys. Can't wait to get them on. Hopefully next week. But
Yep.
besides that, dude, I think I'm good. Wrapping up. Hey, thanks for leading a great podcast. Great to have you
Whoop,
back,
whoop.
brother.
Yes, sir. And then per the usual, go follow us on all social medias at the Three Mirror Podcast. On YouTube is where we do all of our stuff. And we have one message for you. If you don't follow us, fuck you. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Good night, guys.